Spike woke up the next morning, light shining into his eyes as he dragged himself out of bed. It wasn't the best night's sleep he had had, but at least he could now think with a clear mind. Spike ran down the stairs and out of the door of the bakery as fast as his legs would carry him. The blinding light stung his eyes as he made his way back to the library, and before long, he stood at the door. Still the same colorful red as it was when he left. It's like nothing happened at all. Spike reached for the handle, but was unsure if he wanted to see what was inside. Could Twilight have snapped completely? Was she waiting for him? Did she set a trap to hurt him, or worse? Spike stepped back and walked up to the window, climbing up the side of the tree before peeking inside. It wasn't what he expected. Twilight was working, papers all over the library, books laid open on the floor, and pictures pinned to the walls. Spike smiled. Twilight was back to her overreacting self, and it wasn't always how Spike liked her, but at least it was her, and not that monster that he saw last night. Spike jumped down and ran to the door before slowly pushing it open. He walked in to see Twilight looking at him with those beautiful purple eyes that he had missed so much. Twilight? Spike? At first he paused, not knowing what to say or do, but as soon as he looked into her eyes, he knew it was her, and with that, Spike completely ignored what happened last night as he ran to Twilight with open arms. Twilight was quick to return the gesture as they both ran into each other before crying into each other's shoulders. I missed you, Spike, Twilight sobbed, trying not to squeeze too tight. I thought you were gone. I thought you were dead. It's okay. I'm not going anywhere. You promise? I promise. Later that day, Spike was sat at Twilight's desk, looking at a photo of when the elements of harmony were all happy and together. Feeling a little tear well up in his eye, he quickly turned the picture away before putting it back. Spike! Twilight's voice called out. Spike quickly jumped off his chair before quickly running back to the room, still covered in books and pieces of paper. Twilight looked at the purple dragon before throwing a small bag to him. Get packing. What? Why? Because I may have found a lead. Do you remember what happened last year on this exact same day? Last year was when Trixie came to Ponyville. Spike sighed, tilted his head before cocking an eyebrow at the purple unicorn. Twilight? You know I respect your... but Trixie? Come on. It's kinda stupid. Maybe this thing is making you paranoid. Twilight's keen look soon diminished before she looked at the ground. Maybe. But considering what happened, how she took being humiliated in front of the whole town, we don't know how she would react. Maybe she went crazy and vowed revenge on me. It may seem far-fetched, but it's the only vaguely possible lead I have. Spike paused, looking at the beaten purple unicorn, seeing her spirit being crushed as her only hope of avenging her friends was disappearing. Maybe you're right, Twilight said. Maybe I am just getting paranoid. It would make sense. Suddenly, Spike had to jump out of the way as books fell from the air, almost landing on his head. Twilight kicked the book in anger. Sighing, as she began to stare at the floor blankly. Shut up. Shut up! Spike's eyes widened. He could see what was coming. He felt his heart beating in his chest. He tried to think of something. Anything. It wouldn't be long until something ticked. Twilight! She snapped out of her trance. What, Spike? Maybe you're right. In a way. Like you said. We can't be sure how she took being humiliated in front of hundreds of ponies. Maybe she did go crazy. The least we can do is find out. Spike still thought the idea that such an uptight pony would be a murderer was quite far-fetched. But when he spoke, he could see Twilight's soul being lifted. Her smile grew as she began to think. Suddenly, a spark twinkled in her eyes, and she grabbed her saddlebag before looking at Spike. "You're right, Spike. You have a point. When's the next train out of Ponyville?" Well, it's 7 a.m. 15 minutes. 15 minutes? We gotta get packing. Come on! Spike quickly grabbed his bag, running upstairs to get his stuff. Hearing the commotion downstairs, he began to quickly pack his belongings. He knew in his head that it was probably unlikely that a pony, even as stuck up as Trixie, could kill a pony. But in his heart, he knew the only thing Twilight had left was hope. Hope that one day she would find whoever killed her friends. Even if this is going to be a wasted journey, at least Twilight would feel like she is getting closer to avenging her friends. "Spike!" Twilight almost screamed. "Come on! We've got a train to catch!" Spike finally finished stuffing the bag with everything he could find before running down to the stairs, seeing a pacing Twilight standing at the large door. "Okay, you ready?" Twilight asked, raring to go. Where are we going, Twi?" Suddenly, the purple unicorn's horn glowed. Spike quickly dodged as Twilight picked up a large piece of paper behind him, before unraveling it and presenting it to the baby dragon. Spike took a second to read the colorful poster, seeing Twilight's #1 suspect on the cover. Trixie's most dazzling, extraordinary, and dazzling show of the century. Huh? In Canterlot? That's right! Trixie's show is airing tomorrow. We have just enough time to catch her backstage, if we're quick enough. I'll get her to confess, and this can be all over. Spike paused, not sure if he should say what was on his mind. You should tell the princess. You know what you're going to do." As soon as her mentor was mentioned, Twilight's magic faded like a dying light bulb. She dropped the poster before opening the door with a scowl on her face. "No. She's done enough. If any pony can stop this killer, it's me. Come on." Twilight tightened the straps on her saddlebag before walking out the door, waiting for Spike, as he followed. The purple dragon gulped as he left the library, not knowing what their journey would lead to.